What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode 13 of Shots on Target with your host, Brad Betts, where we highlight the top matches of the day, analyze the goal market from the goal market perspective in the world of football. Today is Wednesday, September 11th. We missed our play of the day yesterday, but we countered back with a live look for Argentina to score, and we found a broken line in the United States match when the first goal was overturned. Both were delivered in my Telegram, which is free underneath my X account. So with this episode, I wanted to make sure and highlight that if you're not following me on that Telegram, you need to hop in. It's free, and all we do in that Telegram is look for live opportunities. So with that being said, let's take a look at one match that I want to highlight because we don't have any lines on the book. We can't talk about what could potentially happen necessarily from a numbers perspective in the sports book. And then we're going to highlight the Australia match for our best bet for tomorrow morning. So let's jump into it. Well, in Thailand, Port are taking on Buriram, and Port have scored in 15 straight matches, including 26 of their last 27. But they've conceded in 10 of their last 12 coming into it. They've hit over 2.5 goals in 10 of their last 12, and they've only lost one of their last 23 matches. That's really solid production from a Port squad at home who is in second place in that Thai league. You see them score regularly. Also a team who concede and hit the over, but they're taking on a Buriram squad who is the top squad in Thailand right now. Buriram have scored in 28 straight matches. They've conceded only in 3 of their last 9, but in the 9 prior to that, they conceded in 8 of those 9. So while they haven't conceded regularly to some of these lower teams, they were conceding regularly before that. And then you look, they've also hit over 2.5 in 14 of the last 20. And if they're not conceding a lot and they're hitting the over 2.5, it means they're doing that over 2.5 by themselves. But then you take a look at them. How are they performing against other teams? They've only lost 0 matches of their last 23. They've tied only 3 of those 23, which means they've won 20 of their last 23 matches coming into it. These two teams are coming in tremendous form, so I'm not necessarily sure who's going to take the edge. It looks like Buriram might be the better squad given how Port concedes. But then you take a look at this matchup history as well, which you can see here. Both teams to score have hit in 5 straight matches, and 11 of the last 12 that they've played one another, over 2.5 goals hit in 4 of the last 5, and 9 of the last 12. I expect to see goals, but because I don't know what the lines are, I can't direct you. So we need to highlight this match and then have you guys pop into that sportsbook later tonight. It could even happen overnight. I'm not necessarily sure. A lot of times with matches like this in these smaller leagues that have a lot of potential, the sportsbooks will wait and try to make sure that you forget. So next, we've highlighted our Thai league. Now we're going to jump straight into our best bet. Not a huge slate today, but I found what I feel like is a real advantage here. We're headed to the Australian Cup, which is tomorrow morning at 4:30 a.m. Central Time. Adelaide coming in scoring in 25 of their last 31, and they've conceded in 26 of their last 27. It's one match that they haven't conceded over their last 27. That is production. They've hit both teams to score in 15 of their last 19. They've hit over 2.5 goals in 13 of their last 15. They're taking on a Western Sydney squad who scored in 34 of their last 39 and conceded in 14 of their last 15 coming into it. That one match they didn't concede was against a semi-professional team where they wiped them to the floor 4-0 and let that semi-professional team have just as many opportunities as them. Both teams to score an over 2.5 has hit regularly, both teams to score is 10 of the last 12 and over 2.5 and 12 straight for Western Sydney. Both sides are seeing crazy production. No surprise, the sportsbook have the BTTS and over 2.5 parlay sitting around minus 180, depending on your book. That's just too ugly. So let's take one more step and try to find an additional angle to see if we can find some more value. Well, in 15 of the last 16 matches that both teams have played, they've had a first half goal. So if you add one first half goal into the BTTS and over 2.5 parlay, which can be done on FanDuel, I have it sitting right here to the left of me, looking at it right now. You can get the over first half, one first half goal, so 0.5 first half goal, 2.5 goals in the game, and the both teams to score at minus 143. So I'm going to take for a half of a unit while we're still on international break as the play of the day in the Australia Cup, Adelaide, Western Sydney, both teams to score over 2.5 goals and over 0.5 first half goal as my play of the day. If you can't get that first half goal, you can take the bet split of the over 1.5 team total for both teams. It'll give you a split if it does hit 3 goals or 2 goals from one squad, obviously. But if it hits 3, it has to have 2 from one squad, which can give you the bet split. So that would be the way I would take it if you don't have this option. But if you do, drop in on that parlay of the over 0.5 first half goal, 2.5 goals in the game, and the both teams to score minus 143 at FanDuel. That concludes our episode today. Keep it nice, short, and sweet. We're going to come back tomorrow, highlight Israel's Leumit League, which has 5 matches tomorrow. Yesterday was the last day of the international break. We have 2 days of transition before club ball starts for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday this weekend. It's going to be a loaded slate. You're going to want to be back here tomorrow and then again on Friday, where we're going to have a special guest to take and help look at the entire weekend and find lots of additional value. Thanks again for coming, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow with another episode of Shots on Target with your host, Brad Betts.